Hey folks, Pattern here. Today I'm going to be discussing a game that I've sunk more time into than my own education, and continue to come back to purely out of Stockholm Syndrome. A game that's as much about humanity's desperate struggle to survive in a post-apocalyptic wasteland as it is about never trusting a single one of those humans you encounter, under any conditions. I mean that, because everyone who plays this game is a degenerate of the highest magnitude and will shank you for a can of beans if you so much as cross paths with them. I have around 1500 hours in this game and I just love it. It's the worst and I love it. I'm talking of course about Bohemia Interactive's 2013 title, Dayz. Now, when I say 2013, I don't actually mean the official release date, because the game didn't get a full release until January of 2018. Some of you may be thinking, Pattern, isn't 5 years of early access too long? Don't we as players deserve not to be misled by con men who just want to take our hard-earned rubles before skipping town to sell their next bottle of unfinished snake oil? To that I say, yes, but I'd like to see you create a world this large and immersive from a former USSR bunker using nothing but jumper cables and potato vodka like the good folks at Bohemia Interactive did. Dayz is the standalone version of a mod created by Dean Hall for the popular game Arma 2, and set in a fictional region known as Europe, inspired by the most depressing places you can imagine, such as Newark, Detroit, and Baltimore. You start the game as what players affectionately refer to as a Bambi, which is fitting considering that just like that fun-loving cut of venison, you too will develop PTSD from watching everyone you know and love be killed without mercy by anything that moves within your first hour. In fact, half of these videos provided are from a friend who refused to casually mow down the innocent when he first began playing, but as he soon found out, you can't trust anyone, not even your friends. Thanks for the clip, Steve.
What the hell's going on?
What a guy. Even the things that aren't specifically designed to kill you, like zombies and sickness. Fuck you, sickness. I knew what I was doing when I swam in negative 20-degree water for a half a mile. Will eventually kill or cripple you. Whether it's a shortfall from a first-story balcony or entering any town in a vehicle, you're going to be guided by the sweet embrace of RNGesus and, well, he probably hates you. Around 2018, the fine people of Bohemia emerged from their bunker, no longer shackled by the Soviet regime, and were free to develop a new, shiny engine known as Infusion, made not from potato, but sweet, sweet agave, which meant they could do what all developers dream of someday, letting players build the game for them instead. Criticisms aside, this game is absolutely phenomenal, and it was only made better when the modding community came into the picture. Before mods, we had to create our own fun, such as hiding in walls, or hiding in other walls, or hiding under floors because the ground plane wasn't level with the floor of a building. I'm not kidding. Most colliders in the game were so scuffed that you could phase into just about any structure like a subatomic trash panda. Back to the mods. Modding is great. Any game that has it is a friend of mine, and Dayz is no exception. Previously, there had been no currency or way of obtaining loot in a civilized capitalist fashion, until trader mods backed by Big Ruble were created, letting us at long last put the strongest legal tender into circulation. However, the scripts do allow customization of item calls, so if you want to change those rubles to something even mightier like the Chinese yuan, you'll only need a bit of coding knowledge and a television show formatted to the delicate sensibilities of the CCP. And there better not be blood or tits in it, or you may be asked to go for a ride in an unmarked vehicle to a remote location. In recent years, Bohemia has even gone to the lengths of opening up the Infusion engine to the public and providing resources for modders to get a first-hand feel for what packaging the same mod 100 times is like and still not being able to see the item in game. Immersion, am I right? Seriously, I may rank among the dumbest of my friend group, but it took me at least 100 attempts to get this piece of crap into the game. But there's nothing quite like the thrill of gutting a motherfucker with a scalpel you made in Blender. After you pick up the basics, the real fun can begin. For copyright reasons, I cannot play the song in this clip, as Miss Paula Cole has copyright striked them twice now. But imagine making a man clap for the duration of "Where Have All the Cowboys Gone?" in the promise that he'll be made a member of our squad and given rations to survive the apocalypse, only to be mowed down by my compatriot Nye in a hail of gunfire. Why? Because this isn't a game. This is a learning exercise meant to teach humanity that no one is to be trusted when the world goes to shit. And that if you don't clap on beat to Mrs. Cole, I'll fucking ice you. You'll most likely spawn in somewhere along the coast, which you only think is massive until you see the scale of what's inland and realize that every road and town sign is written in wingdings, meaning you'd better grab yourself a second monitor, because without some visual aid to guide you, for a minimum of 500 hours, your ass is going to be lost in the forest at night, punching wolves in complete darkness while your character complains endlessly about how hungry they are. Could you? Could you really eat another bite, Greg from Zelenogorsk? While you're freezing to death miles from civilization in the hellish Chernaris landscape, zombies hot on your tail, your only immediate concern is to shovel another can of bread drink down your oily throat? You sicken me. Let's talk about endgame. Since there is no objective to Dayz other than surviving and thriving, it's up to the player to establish their own goals. Whether that's seeking out other survivors.
Why not? Because they need a gun to fucking shoot him, Nick! Oh my god. I looted the shit I had.
Trekking to the northern loot-filled military bases, or stretching your forehead wide enough to build a base with a tower in the middle so high that you can snipe anyone anywhere at any time. The possibilities are whatever you make them. My friends and I would regularly hold glow stick raves at the Church of Satan in Svetlo until inevitably American gun politics got involved and put us all on t-shirts. I'm not really sure if this exploit is still around, but if you're looking to quickly get the most out of your hard-earned loot, there's a bug that allows players to duplicate objects by picking them up and placing them on the ground back and forth right before the server restarts itself. This practice is frowned upon by most admins and has historically gotten me and my friends banned from servers, but to that I say, hey, if Bohemia didn't want me to have 2 backpacks full of rotten zucchinis, why would they have included it in the game? I'm only using the tools provided to me, and it's not my fault that your arbitrary code of ethics dictates my playstyle. Once fully Chad, and appropriately armed with the tools and knowledge to navigate the immense landscape, some of the visuals here are actually very impressive and make for picturesque camping sites to sit, relax, and reflect on the amount of butthurt you've left in your wake. Or simply go full degenerate and cut down trees to see how far you can launch vehicles into the stratosphere like the cosmonaut moon man you are. Godspeed. There's definitely strength in numbers, and solo players may feel at times like they're at a disadvantage. This is because they are. If you see someone playing solo, it's a rule in Dayz that you must treat them however you like and perform any number of atrocities towards them without fear of repercussion, until you've created a monster with nothing to lose, at which point they'll hunt you down and use whatever is at their disposal to clobber you, and simply because of the mysterious spaghetti code, may just knock you unconscious in one swing with a can of tactical bacon, giving them access to not only your gear, but your life. In early development phases, this was a not-so-forgiving aspect, as damage to the extremities could cause a lack of functionality. Imagine falling from a small height in the woods and breaking both legs, crawling at a snail's pace for literally hours, and if you didn't starve or freeze to death first, finally reaching a town to craft a splint before being shot by a sniper who'd been camping on a hillside for hours, just waiting for that moment. While this was a hugely entertaining feature for obvious reasons, it's mostly removed in modded servers due to the spinelessness and weak leadership that wants this game to be about fun, and not the struggle of a trivial slip resulting in hours of pencil rolling down the highway. Dayz may not be for everyone, but if you've got patience, discipline, and more free time than a moderator on Reddit, grab your beans and meet me at Green Mountain, because I need more delicious human meat. I've become obsessed out here, and the only thing that drives away the sound of my own deranged laughter is more flesh. More. Thank you for watching. I rate Daisy 9 Riffy boats out of an infection that doesn't go away no matter how many meds you take.
This will take me a while, but... So, am I able to shoot shells and shoot banana peels out, or what?
God, just real racist.